August 19 was the last day you were fully protected. Archangel Michael says someone has been stealing energy from you since then. This is your final chance to seal the gap. Open now. August 19 was not just a date on the calendar. It was a divine marker, a line drawn in the spirit realm, a separation between what was and what now is. On that day, a heavenly shield that had been over your life, often unnoticed but always active, was lifted, not as punishment, but as preparation. From the throne room, a decision was made. The covering would be momentarily lifted, not to harm you, but to reveal what has been hiding behind false light, subtle whispers, and deceptive smiles. Archangel Michael, the warring guardian of heaven's army, now speaks. He does not come with casual words. His sword does not stir without command. His voice has been dispatched for the chosen, not the curious. If these words burn in your spirit, if something inside you feels like it's been fighting without reason since that day, then this message is for you. Since August 19, a spiritual gap has been opened, a breach in your perimeter. It was not opened by your permission, but by your spiritual positioning. You have been walking toward elevation, and the enemy caught wind. He has sent watchers. He has sent counterfeit connections. And worst of all, he has sent trainers. Since that day, your energy has felt unstable. Not always weak, but interrupted. You've second-guessed what was once clear. Conversations that used to bring peace now leave confusion. You've noticed the shift, even if you couldn't explain it. The reason is this: your energy, your spiritual oil, has been siphoned, pulled through open doors, emotional ties, spiritual leaks. But why now? Because you were about to ascend. Because you were about to be revealed. Because your name was being written into a scroll of assignment, and the enemy saw the glow before you felt the flame. But here is what Archangel Michael says next. There is still a final chance to seal the gap. The window has not yet closed, but it is narrowing. This is not a call to noise, but to silence. Not a call to striving, but to stillness. Not a call to fear, but to obedience. Heaven is listening. And what you do now, in the quiet, will determine what gets sealed or what continues to spill. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Hear now the voice of the one who stands before the throne, sword drawn and wings outstretched. The Archangel Michael speaks not with suggestion, but with a charge, a call, a divine summons. From the courts of heaven, he comes bearing a message that has waited for the appointed moment. And that moment is now. From August 19 until this very hour, the heavens have been watching you struggle to understand what shifted, watching your spirit reach for clarity in the silence of your nights, watching you move forward only to be met with invisible resistance, watching you lose energy that seemed to vanish without cause, watching but not absent, because heaven never turns its face from the chosen. It simply waits for alignment. You have been targeted, yes. But more than that, you have been noticed. The shift that occurred on August 19 was not accidental. It was the response to your spiritual momentum. You were walking too close to your calling. You were standing too near the gate of elevation. And so the adversary did what he always does when light begins to rise. He sent confusion. He sent disruption. He released those who operate in shadows to tamper with what heaven had sealed. And now, Michael, the Archangel of War, the guardian of divine destiny, steps forward to say, "This is your final warning before the breach becomes a battlefront. You have felt it. Don't deny it. Your sleep has been broken. Your strength has felt drained. Your spirit has been agitated. Your emotions have been on edge without explanation. There are days you've woken up more tired than when you laid down. There are moments when you feel a presence in the room and no one is there. You've seen flashes in your dreams. You've heard your name when no one was calling it. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual signals. Someone has been drawing from your well, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. But listen closely now. Not everyone will hear this message the same. Not everyone will feel the burn in their spirit as these words are spoken. Because this message is not for the many. It is for the one who has been feeling the invisible pull, the one who has been fighting in silence, the one who has been walking under the weight of a battle they could not name. You are being summoned, not to fight in your flesh, but to stand in your spirit. Like a soldier being summoned by the sound of the trumpet, you are being called back into formation. There is urgency in this moment. This is not a casual word. This is not just prophetic insight. This is a divine instruction, a divine interception, a divine reversal. If you respond correctly, Michael has drawn his sword. He does not move unless commanded by the Most High. He does not speak unless heaven authorizes. If you are hearing this, it means you have been marked, not just for warfare, but for victory. Not just for disruption, but for promotion. But the promotion will not come without obedience. Now is not the time to question if this message is for you. You already know it is. Now is not the time to look outward for answers, because the battle is inward. The gap must be sealed. The leak must be closed. The source of the drain must be silence. You are not weak. You are not confused. You are under divine surveillance. An Archangel Michael has been dispatched not to warn you only, but to cover you as you respond. But he only wars for those who obey. He only defends those who align. So hear this as a holy trumpet, a clarion call. The heavens are watching. The Spirit is moving. The gap is open. The time is now. Will you respond? Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Since the lifting of the heavenly shield on August 19, the atmosphere around you has been anything but normal. In the silence of your spirit, you felt it, not just a heaviness, but a theft, a subtle, strategic siphoning. The kind of draining that doesn't announce itself with chaos, but creeps through the cracks, through words that seem harmless, through eyes that linger too long, through conversations that leave you emptier than before they began. They've been stealing from you. This is what the Spirit reveals through Archangel Michael's dispatch. The enemy did not come roaring like a lion this time. No, he came through whispers, distractions, and strange encounters. Conversations that lingered in your mind for hours after they ended. People who entered your space with familiar smiles but left an unshakable fog behind them. Some of them came cloaked in concern. Some came with what looked like opportunity. Some came as family. Others as friends. And yet the result was always the same: leakage. You gave out more than you received. You walked away feeling emptied, not knowing where your peace had gone. You entered rooms feeling whole and left feeling watched. You woke up from dreams that didn't belong to you, carrying emotions you couldn't explain. There were nights you tossed and turned under the weight of something unseen, mornings when your energy was absent before your feet touched the ground. This is not paranoia. This is discernment awakening. And heaven is confirming what your spirit already suspected. There are watchers. There are mimics. There are spiritual siphons who have discerned that your oil is valuable. And so they position themselves close enough to absorb it. They don't need to touch you, only to gain access to your energy. And since August 19, when the shield was lifted to expose what was hidden, you've been a target. Listen now. Not everyone who draws near is aligned. Not everyone who compliments is safe. Not every invitation is divine. Some of you are entertaining conversations that carry hidden chords. Some are answering messages laced with assignments. Some are connected emotionally to people who no longer carry your frequency, and the result is theft in the spirit realm. The evidence has been clear, but your soul has second-guessed the signs. Sudden fatigue in places that used to give you joy. Delays that seem unreasonable. Opportunities slipping through your hands for no clear reason. And a strange pattern of opposition, as if something or someone was resisting your every move forward. You've asked silently, who is pulling from me? What are they taking? And the Spirit answers, they are pulling your focus, your favor, your fire. They are trying to drain what fuels your authority before you even fully step into it. Because the enemy knows a fully awakened, fully aligned you is a threat he cannot contain. You were not mistaken when you felt certain rooms were off. You were not imagining the tension in that call. You weren't overreacting when you sensed that someone was watching you more than supporting you. The warfare has been subtle, but real. The theft has been quiet, but ongoing. But let this be your turning point. Heaven has sounded the alarm, not to scare you, but to awaken you. The breach can still be sealed. The flow can still be reversed. But you must rise with discernment and begin to cut the cords. This is your season to guard your oil, to protect your spirit, to question what you once tolerated, and to retreat from what no longer carries peace. No longer allow your peace to be a transaction. No longer give your energy to those who only drain. You are being called to seal the gap, not with noise, but with clarity, with discernment, with obedience. The exposure was never to harm you. It was to teach you how to protect what is sacred. You are not a victim. You are a vault. You are not drained. You are being disciplined. And discipline is the doorway to dominion. Type "My energy is protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2024 is now surrounding your spirit. If this message has stirred something deep in your spirit, if you felt the truth of it vibrating in your chest, then this is your moment to sow into the mission. Every word released from this platform is a sword in someone's battle, and you can help send that sword into more hands. I feel the Spirit saying, who will help carry the oil. Because what you give now doesn't just sustain a voice, it fuels a movement. A divine river is being released every time you give. As it is written, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This word doesn't return void. It returns multiplied. If the Spirit is prompting you, respond. Click Super Thanks, become a channel member, or bless through PayPal. The link is in the video description below. You're not just giving your opening heaven over someone else's life. Don't delay. Seal the gap. Send the light. Fuel the word. You must understand now. This has never been random. None of it. Not the timing. Not the disruption. Not the draining. The things that began unraveling after August 19 were not just bad luck or emotional turbulence. What you've been walking through is not confusion. It is spiritual conflict, and it has been divinely permitted. The Lord of Hosts has allowed what was hidden in shadows to surface in your light. This is a test, but it is also a revealing. A sacred exposure to uncover the leaks in your spirit, to show you what's been siphoning your power, and to demand that you rise, not as a victim, but as a vessel chosen for war. From the moment a shield lifted on August 19, heaven marked your steps with a kind of divine surveillance. Every word you spoke, every choice you made, every place you gave your attention, it was being measured. Not for punishment, not for condemnation, but for alignment. Because the weight you've been called to carry in the next season cannot rest on someone who leaks. The glory that is being prepared for your life cannot rest on someone who reacts to every pull and provocation. There had to be a moment when the gap was revealed. And that moment was August 19. Hear me, this isn't because you are weak. It's because you are chosen. The resistance didn't come because you're losing. It came because you're ascending. Your name has been whispered in places of promotion. Your authority has been recognized in places of darkness. And so, like a spotlight on a soldier in the field, your movement caught the attention of both heaven and hell. This conflict you're facing, this strange fog, the way people have shifted around you, the way peace has become harder to grasp, it is all part of a heavenly confrontation with what has followed you quietly for too long. Patterns that have lingered in your lineage. Agreements you made unknowingly. Soul ties. Emotional bonds. Habits of self-abandonment. All of it has been summoned into the open because God is demanding full authority be restored to you, not in pieces, but in wholeness. Archangel Michael declares, you are not in random warfare. You are in prophetic transition. This is why it's been hard to explain to others. They don't see it. They don't feel the invisible war raging around your spirit. You try to talk about it, and they call it overthinking. You express your discomfort, and they dismiss it as emotional. But Archangel Michael knows. Heaven knows. And your spirit knows. This is bigger than you. The energy being drained wasn't just yours. It was heaven's investment in you. But now the question remains, what will you do? Because your reaction now will determine the outcome. If you rise in anger, the enemy rejoices. If you react in fear, the gap widens. But if you stand in stillness, if you stand in discernment, if you shut your mouth and anchor your soul, then the heavens will move on your behalf. The war isn't about keeping you down. It's about awakening what was dormant. You've been walking with a dull sword and a leaking oil jar. But now, the Most High is sharpening your discernment and sealing the cracks. You're being refined by revelation. You're being empowered by pressure. Do not mistake the battle for abandonment. Do not interpret the silence as neglect. The silence is sacred. It's the sound of heaven rearranging your spiritual architecture. While others see delay, God is preparing deployment. You must understand, This is not the enemy's victory. It is heaven's invitation. An invitation to maturity, to spiritual mastery, to strength that doesn't flinch and authority that doesn't break under scrutiny. And yes, heaven is watching. Even now, the angels are measuring your response. Will you entertain the distractions? Will you chase validation from empty vessels? Or will you do the one thing that causes the enemy to tremble? Stand still and obey. This is your hour. The conflict is divine. The surveillance is real. The assignment is yours. Type "I am still" and strong in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 5555 is sealing your spiritual gates. Hear now what Archangel Michael declares. What began as subtle theft is now growing into open strategy. The ones who drew from your energy quietly are preparing to escalate. The enemy does not sleep when he sees anointed ones awaken. And because you have endured the silent draining without breaking, he is shifting into a new phase, confrontation. You must understand this with divine clarity. This isn't over. The gap that opened on August 19 has become a spiritual breach, and if left unsealed, within the next 72 hours, the enemy will attempt another drain. But this time it won't come through whispers or emotional confusion. This time, it will come through pressure. Pressure in your relationships. Pressure in your finances. Pressure in your thoughts. Archangel Michael says, they are planning another entry. Heaven has revealed it. The trap is already forming in the unseen. There are conversations happening about you in hidden places. There are hearts plotting against your light. There are people, faces you know and even trust, who are unknowingly being used to release draining assignments over your life. And it's all scheduled to escalate within 3 days unless you respond now. The signs will be subtle at first, a sudden argument out of nowhere, a call that feels urgent but serves no purpose, a false invitation that promises opportunity but comes with spiritual weight. These are not random. These are planted distractions, attempts to pull you out of the stillness you've been commanded to maintain. Be warned, noise is bait. The moment you start to react, you feed the drain. The enemy wants your reaction, not because it weakens you, but because it gives him access. He thrives on emotional outbursts. He feeds off your frustration. He pulls on your confusion. But silence confounds him. Stillness disrupts his grit. And obedience dismantles his plans. So listen closely now. When the phone rings and something feels off, don't answer. When the text comes wrapped in urgency but coded in manipulation, do not reply. When the opportunity appears, but your spirit feels heavy, walk away. This is not a season to second-guess your discernment. This is a season to trust it, even when it costs you comfort. Because what you're fighting isn't just emotional fatigue. It's spiritual sabotage. And the ones who are coming next may look familiar, but they're carrying assignments designed to distract and deplete. It's not the person, it's the principality behind the person. And if you're not spiritually aware, you will start addressing faces instead of fighting spirits. That is how the enemy wins. But heaven has not left you uncovered. Archangel Michael has already stationed warriors around your dwelling. The sword has already been unsheathed. The angels have already been dispatched. But understand this, your cooperation is required. You must seal the gap, not with frantic action, but with holy alignment. Your stillness will trigger divine reinforcement. Your silence will command angelic intervention. But if you allow yourself to be provoked, if you allow yourself to be lured into battles you were never meant to fight, the breach remains open. Let this be your divine warning. The pressure will increase. The tests will come dressed in urgency. And the temptation will be to defend yourself, to prove your point, to chase clarity from people who were never meant to understand you. But resist the urge. Rise above the noise. And remember, your silence is not weakness. It is warfare. Within 72 hours, the enemy will try again. But this time, your awareness is your advantage. This time, your discernment is your defense. And this time, you will not be moved. Heaven is watching. Hell is watching. And your next move will determine what enters your atmosphere. Will you react or will you retreat into obedience? Type "I will not react" in the comments if you're choosing silence over sabotage. Blessing Code 4141 is now protecting your decisions. Now, hear clearly the divine command. Be still. This is not a passive suggestion. It is a strategic position. The voice of Archangel Michael does not speak for comfort, but for victory. And this is what he declares. The battle is being fought, but only for those who do not interfere with the war. Silence is not surrender. It is sanctified strength. Stillness is not inactivity. It is alignment with angelic movement. Since the breach on August 19, your life has felt increasingly loud, not only outwardly, but inwardly. Thoughts racing, emotions flaring, conversations spinning in circles. And yet, all of it has one goal: to pull you out of stillness and into leakage. The noise is not random. It is targeted warfare. The moment you speak without clarity, you bleed virtue. The moment you explain to the wrong spirit, you expose yourself to infiltration. And the moment you react out of emotion, you give permission to the very forces heaven is trying to block. So the divine instruction is this: withdraw. Observe. Do not react. When they push for answers, remain calm. When they bait you with confusion, respond with stillness. When they test your boundaries, let your silence speak louder than your explanations. Because in this moment, your stillness is a signal, a weapon, a protective seal. And when you remain in obedience, heaven begins to fortify around you. Archangel Michael is not idle. His sword is not decorative. He stands guard over the obedient, not the loud, not the reactive, but the aligned. When you step back, he steps forward. When you close your mouth, he opens heaven. When you fall silent, he rises in war. This is why the enemy has been pressing so hard for a reaction. He wants you to argue. He wants you to text back. He wants you to defend your intentions. But here's the truth. You don't need to defend what God has already justified. Every time you choose stillness, you're sealing the gap. Every time you hold your tongue, you're strengthening your gates. Every time you walk away in obedience, you're provoking divine intervention. Let this be the posture of your protection. Quiet confidence in the sovereignty of God. You are not without power. You are just being called to higher power. To a level where your protection is not found in what you do, but in what you don't do. This is spiritual maturity. This is heavenly intelligence. This is divine warfare strategy. And remember this: noise invites attention. Stillness commands fear. The ones who have been pulling from your energy don't know how to handle a version of you that doesn't explain, doesn't chase, doesn't engage. They are used to your responses. They are used to your open spirit. They are used to your availability. But now, in this season, heaven says, be unavailable to everything that drains you. Your silence is not weakness. It is a shield. Your withdrawal is not rejection. It is redirection. Your stillness is not absence. It is angelic strategy. And as you obey this command, something supernatural is activated. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, not if you remain in the secret place. Not if you abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Not if you let Archangel Michael fight what your mouth can't fix. You are covered. You are guarded. You are not alone. But the covering is conditional. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. Stay holy. Because the ones who walk in silence now will roar in power later. And heaven has already declared, the final victory will not come through striving, but through surrender. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if you're stepping into divine silence. Blessing code 7171 is now fortifying your atmosphere. You are no longer who you were on August 18. Let those words pierce through the fog. Let them settle into the marrow of your spirit. Because you need to hear it again. You are no longer who you were before the breach. The moment the heavens lifted that shield, not to punish you, but to position you, something ancient within you began to stir. A shift. A cracking. A calling. What was hidden in you began to rise. What was dormant began to awaken. Yes, your protection was interrupted, but not your purpose. Yes, your energy was drained, but not your anointing. And yes, they tried to steal from you, but they mistakenly triggered your transformation. Archangel Michael speaks with fire in his voice and power in his presence. They thought they were weakening you, but they activated your next level. What they took cannot compare to what is about to be revealed in you. You've been feeling pressure, but the pressure was never the point. The point was the process. A divine refinement. The stripping that prepares you for strengthening. The loss that makes room for legacy. Do not mourn what was lost. Rejoice in what's being birthed. From the ashes of your drained energy, a fire is being rekindled. From the shadows of confusion, a new clarity is taking form. From the places where your name was misused, heaven is now shouting your identity in the courts of destiny. The same God who allowed the breach is the God now announcing your becoming. You are not leaking. You are being lit. You are not diminished. You are being defined. You are not tired. You are being tempered for power. The fire was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to reforge you. You are being reintroduced to yourself. This season is not punishment. It is permission. Permission to step out of your former self. Permission to shed the skin of people-pleasing, over-explaining, spiritual fragility. That version of you could not carry the weight of your next assignment. So God let it crack. He let the old you collapse. He let the light shine through the leaks so you could finally see your wings. Yes, your wings. Because even while you were leaking, you were being lifted. Heaven did not forget you. The angels did not abandon you. They stood close while you cried. They guarded the fragments while you thought you were broken. And now, they surround you, not to comfort your past, but to announce your rise. You are no longer crawling in confusion. You are soaring in revelation. You are no longer seeking validation. You are walking in divine identity. And as you walk forward from this moment, Archangel Michael declares, you are not returning to what was. You are becoming what was promised. Every drop of energy that was stolen is being multiplied in spiritual force. Every moment of silence you chose is being converted into spiritual authority. Every person who underestimated you is about to witness a version of you that even you didn't recognize. Anointed, alert, unstoppable. Your silence wasn't just protection. It was metamorphosis. Your obedience wasn't just survival. It was elevation. And now, as your wings unfold and the fire refines you, you step into a space not just of survival, but of spiritual command. You are not the same. You are better, brighter, fuller. Heaven is handing you back your power, but not as it was before. It's coming with weight, with fire, with divine certification. Walk tall, warrior. Walk confident. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. Because while they stole energy, they activated a greater force inside you. And what's rising now is untouchable. Type "My rise has begun" in the comments if this word is stirring the fire in you. Blessing code 8888 is now unlocking your next level. You've made it this far because heaven has been guiding you through fire into full revelation. You didn't just survive the breach, you unlocked the scroll. What the enemy meant as a weakening was actually the trigger for the release of what's been sealed for such a time as this. Archangel Michael now steps forward not only as a warrior, but as a witness to your breakthrough. And what he now declares over you is this: you have passed the test of silence. Now comes the unveiling of inheritance. Hear this clearly. The gap was allowed so you could see who you really are. Not who people said you were. Not who trauma shaped you to be. Not who manipulation tried to mold. But the real you. The royal you. The anointed, preserved, appointed, called, set apart, spirit-sealed version of you that hell always feared would rise. The energy they stole, it exposed the wealth of what you carry. The dreams they tried to intercept, it confirmed you were being shown blueprints of the future. The confusion that crept in, it signaled the magnitude of the crown over your head. Let this sink in. Heaven has known your name from before the foundations of the earth. But it wasn't until the battle after August 19 that you began to know what heaven already saw. This isn't just about getting energy back. This is about divine recognition. This is the moment where the veil is lifted, not just in the spirit realm, but in your natural life. You're about to see the fruit of your obedience. You're about to see divine visibility. Heaven has approved your promotion, and now men shall see what they tried to steal. The delay has been broken. The release is imminent. Because when you chose silence over chaos, stillness over striving, and alignment over emotion, you activated a law in the spirit realm that cannot be revoked. Inheritance follows obedience. Hear the prophetic word: what was locked is now open. What was withheld is now flowing. What was delayed is now dispatched. Your name has been whispered in heavenly places, and the angels have received the command. Release it now. Divine promotion is not coming. It has already begun. You will notice it in strange ways. People who overlooked you will now seek your voice. Doors that once remained sealed will begin to open without force. Battles that drained you will suddenly dissolve. Why? Because the moment your identity was confirmed in fire, your access was expanded. This is your unlocking. But with unlocking comes unveiling. You must now carry this revelation with sacredness. Not everyone can go with you. Not everyone will understand this level. And not everyone is authorized to be near what heaven just released. That's why the battle exposed connections. That's why the leak revealed motives. Heaven had to make room for what was always meant to fall into your hands. You don't need to chase what's yours. You just need to stay in alignment. It's already written. Your name is in the registry of inheritance. Your scroll is being opened. Your path is illuminated. Let them talk. Let them watch. Let them wonder. They saw your weakness, but now they will witness your reward. Because when heaven lifts you, no hand of man or force of darkness can stop it. And what's been released now is irrevocable. Type "I receive what is mine" in the comments if this word confirms your inheritance. Blessing code 999 is now releasing divine promotion into your hands. You've just stepped into a revelation that not only restores your energy, but reclaims your inheritance. If this word has opened something in your spirit, then this is your moment to partner with the move of God. The harvest is here, and your support plants the seed in someone else's season of unlocking. Every gift, every super thanks, every membership, every PayPal seed is not just a donation, it's a divine release. God is saying, those who sow into light will be covered in fire. You are part of this prophetic river. And by giving now, you help carry this revelation into homes, cities, and nations. Let your seed echo this word. Click super thanks, become a channel member, or bless the ministry through PayPal. Link in the video description. Let your giving match your revelation. Unlock what's next. Move now. This is the moment heaven has been waiting for. Your full alignment with your assignment. You are no longer in the phase of endurance. You are now being summoned into activation. What was once just spiritual warfare has now become spiritual release, and it's not waiting on heaven anymore. It's waiting on you. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of your breakthrough, sword drawn, wings spread, watching for one thing, your agreement. Not with your circumstances, not with your past, but with your destiny. Because heaven doesn't force purpose, it responds to permission. And now, God is waiting for your yes. This is not a passive yes. This is not a whisper in a prayer. This is not a convenient nod to destiny. This is the kind of yes that seals the gap, that commands angels into position, that slams shut every portal the enemy was using to drain you. This is the kind of yes that makes hell nervous and heaven roar. And it must be spoken, declared, activated. I agree with heaven. I align with my scroll. I seal the breach with obedience. Declare it now, for the spirit realm is listening. From the moment your protection lifted on August 19, heaven has been waiting for this response. You've been tested, exposed, emptied, and refined. But now, the final piece must fall into place. Your yes must echo louder than the distractions. You cannot carry the destiny God has for you while staying chained to what you've outgrown. You cannot hold divine authority in one hand while entertaining counterfeit connections in the other. You must choose. Because activation only happens where there is agreement. You've been chosen. Yes. You've been refined. Yes. You've been empowered. Yes. But now you must say yes in return, not with your mouth only, but with your actions. This means breaking the cycles you were scared to walk away from. Saying no to the invitations that pull you out of alignment. Closing the doors that are familiar, but spiritually fatal. You are not just being called out. You are being called up. Into purpose. Into posture. Into power. And it begins with declarations. Speak now what heaven has written over your life. I will not be drained. I will not be delayed. I agree with divine timing. I agree with supernatural covering. I walk into what has always been mine. I seal the breach with obedience. I accept my assignment, and I rise in my authority. This is how the atmosphere shifts. This is how your angels move faster. This is how the breach is sealed. You are not here to simply survive warfare. You are here to walk in dominion. You are here to occupy what was promised to you. You are here to steward the restoration that God has entrusted to you. There's no more room for delay. No more grace for indecision. Heaven has extended the scroll. Now it's your turn to sign it with your life. No more waiting for validation. No more hoping someone else will see you. God already saw you. He already approved you. What's left is your obedience. This isn't about feeling ready. It's about being willing. Say yes. Seal the gap. Step into alignment. Walk in your anointing. Type I align with heaven in the comments if you are choosing destiny over delay. Blessing code 3030 is now unlocking every door written with your name. Now that you've said yes, something holy is taking place, not around you, but beyond you. In the silence of your spirit, in the obedience of your actions, a divine exchange has been initiated in the unseen. There are things happening right now in realms your eyes cannot see, but your spirit can feel. Movements, recoveries, assignments, transfers. While your body sleeps, your name is being whispered in the courts of heaven. While your mind rests, your angels are retrieving what was stolen. While your voice is still, heaven is speaking on your behalf. This is what Archangel Michael reveals. The moment your yes aligned with obedience, a transaction began, a heavenly retrieval mission. The energy that was stolen, it's being collected. The peace that was snatched from you is being reordered. The favor that slipped through your hands, it's being restored sevenfold. The doors that closed unfairly, they're being reopened, this time with supernatural keys. What happened on August 19 was not a permanent loss. It was a divine trigger. You were never left unprotected for destruction. You were allowed to walk through spiritual exposure, so heaven could establish justice. And now the tables are turning. A holy exchange has begun. Do you feel the shift? That subtle release in your chest. That stillness returning to your thoughts. That growing sense of clarity where confusion used to live. That's not just recovery, it's redemption. Heaven is replacing everything the enemy tried to take. Not through vengeance, but through divine order. Because what you didn't realize was that while your strength was under attack, your spirit was filing reports. Every tear you cried was documented. Every moment of restraint was logged. Every act of obedience, every silent retreat, every step away from chaos. All of it was recorded in the scroll of justice. And now the divine court is responding. There are silent negotiations happening in the spirit. Angels assigned to your case are reclaiming what was stolen. They are going into the vaults where your energy was stored by dark watchers. They are snatching back the clarity that was hijacked. They are retrieving the revelation that was delayed. You are being recompensed in silence. Let this settle deep in you. Heaven restores in stillness. This is why your body was restless before you even understood the war. Your spirit already knew a divine moment was coming. The unease was not anxiety, it was anticipation. Your soul was preparing for something it couldn't yet see. That pressure, that tension, that wasn't your breaking point. It was the pulling back before the launch. Now, Archangel Michael says, rest, for restoration is underway. While you stand in silence, angels are moving with urgency. While you obey the call to disconnect from what drained you, the hosts of heaven are reconnecting you to what empowers you. While you surrender the counterfeit, heaven is preparing the true covenant. The exchange is not just emotional or spiritual, it is prophetic. What was once denied to you will be presented again, this time with open doors. What once rejected you will now request you. What seemed unreachable will suddenly become within grasp. This is not magic. This is divine principle. Obedience in silence births restitution in power. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to beg for restoration. You don't need to convince God to fight for you. He's already released the command. The breach has been noticed. The theft has been reviewed. The reversal is in process. Your only responsibility is to stay in the posture of stillness. Because while you wait, God works. While you rest, heaven rebuilds. While you release, angels retrieve. And while you worship in silence, your future is being restored in glory. Type "I receive heaven's exchange" in the comments if your spirit senses the restoration. Blessing Code 2424 is now reclaiming every loss and sealing divine restitution. Now comes the part the enemy hoped you'd never see. Now comes the moment where the pain meets its purpose, where the leak meets its limit, and where your silence gives way to spiritual justice. Archangel Michael stands not only as the guardian of heaven's armies, but as a witness in the divine courtroom, and his sword is now pointed at those who thought your energy was theirs to drain. Judgment has been rendered. Heaven is not merely aware of what was stolen from you. Heaven is responding. The time of silent injustice has ended. The delay, the drain, the spiritual vandalism against your peace and strength, it is now being reversed, not partially, but sevenfold. Yes, sevenfold. This is not poetic. It is biblical. When the thief is caught, he must repay sevenfold. Proverbs 6:31, and the thief has been caught. Those who watched you silently collapse, those who pulled from your virtue, those who smiled while siphoning your spiritual clarity, they are now being exposed in the spirit realm. Not through drama, not through confrontation, but through divine recompense. Heaven is reordering the scales. The weight they added to your shoulders is now being lifted, and returned to them multiply. Every conversation that drained you, every door that was slammed in your face, every spiritual attack master's coincidence, it's all being accounted for, and it's all being reversed. You will not have to lift a hand. You will not have to speak a word. Archangel Michael has been released as the executor of divine reversal. His sword does not miss, and his orders are clear. Every delay is being flipped into acceleration. Every betrayal is being turned into a platform. Every lie spoken against you is being transformed into prophetic proof of your favor. They tried to rob you in silence. Now God will restore you in public. Heaven is not only reversing the damage, heaven is honoring your restraint. You didn't curse them. You didn't fight back. You didn't break down. And because you remained hidden, heaven is lifting you in front of the very altars that were built to see you fall. This is spiritual justice. Let your heart rest. You will not have to avenge yourself. You will not need to seek closure. You don't have to explain what happened. The Most High saw it all, and the gavel of divine reversal has already struck the heavenly floor. You will witness it with your own eyes. Sudden release of finances that were blocked. Restoration of relationships that were unjustly severed. Unexplained favor where rejection once stood. New voices defending you without your prompting. This is vindication without striving. Because your power never left you. It was hidden, preserved, waiting for justice to activate the release. Now that the breach has been addressed, now that your obedience has met its full expression, the flow of reversal cannot be stopped. You are about to walk in the very places that once barred your entry. You are about to receive from the very hands that once withheld. You are about to thrive in the same territories where you were once attacked. Archangel Michael decrees, the war is won. Now comes the reward. Heaven is not asking you to fight for your restoration. Heaven is handing it to you. And to the enemy, the sentence is sealed. The access is revoked. The strategy is dismantled. And every demonic whisper sent against you is now being bound in chains of divine fire. There will be no more drains, no more delays, no more distortion. Because the justice of the Lord is not delayed, and when he moves, he restores with interest. Type "justice is mine" in the comments if this reversal is already unfolding in your life. Blessing code 1919 is now executing your restoration in full. Now, let the final word be sealed over you. August 19 was the marker. The moment heaven allowed the shield to lift so the hidden things could be revealed. That was the day your spiritual insulation shifted. Not because you were abandoned, but because you were being activated. Since then, you have walked through exposure, emotional warfare, spiritual drainage, divine testing, and holy refinement. But now the final hour is upon you. This is your last chance to seal the gap. Archangel Michael speaks. The season of open doors in the enemy's camp is over. The window of war is closing. And now, with one decision, you finalize the sealing of the breach. You've walked through the fire. You've remained still in the storm. You've chosen silence over sabotage. And now, the blessing is being released. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Heaven has recorded your obedience. Heaven has witnessed your surrender. Heaven has activated your restoration. And from this moment forward, you walk no longer as the one being drained, but as the one being deployed. Let this closing affirmation wash over your spirit. I am no longer under attack. I am under assignment. I am no longer confused. I am clarifying. I am no longer leaking. I am overflowing. I am no longer hiding. I I am standing in the light of divine justice. The gap has been sealed. The watchers have been silenced. The stolen oil has been returned. And your future has been written in flame, visible to angels, unreadable to the enemy, and fully approved by the Most High. So walk forth now with confidence. Walk forth now with clarity. Walk forth now with fire. No more fear. No more fatigue. No more fog. You are not who you were on August 18. You have survived the gap, and now you rise as a vessel of glory, sealed for the days ahead. Type the GP is sealed in the comments if this word has confirmed your victory. Blessing code 1212 is now covering your destiny with divine fire. You've just walked through a prophetic journey that has sealed the breach, ignited your identity, and awakened your divine calling. If this message spoke to your soul, don't just walk away full, help another soul receive this same fire. When you give, you aren't supporting content. You're sowing into a battlefield where angels war, lives are restored, and chains are broken. This word didn't just inform, it transformed. And now, you can be a vessel in that transformation for others. As it is written, He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. The moment you give, you activate a fresh flow into your life and into the lives of others who desperately need to hear this. Click Super Thanks, become a channel member, or sow directly through PayPal. A link is in the video description. Let your obedience echo your transformation. Help send this message into the mouths, minds, and hearts of those still fighting. This is your final act of sealing the gap, not just for you, but for a generation.